Hello, everyone, and welcome to another in the series of Family Matters, where we explore varying topics that affect the family. Today's focus is how to deal with stress within marriage relationship. I am your host, Sabrina Martin. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Before we go into our topic today, let me introduce you to our panelists.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. Hi, everyone. My name is Tashken Davis. I'm a family man, of course. I'm married to one beautiful wife, and I have two beautiful girls. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leonard Chirenje, and like Tashken, I'm also married to one beautiful wife and two lovely kids. And the topic today, stress, is something that touches my heart, especially because we all go through it.
Solomon Michael Serinjoji is my name. Likewise, family man, one wife and four beautiful children. I'm always excited to learn one or two things, but also contribute something on this channel, Family Matters. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate your presence here. Now let's delve right into the matter by defining exactly what stress is. The Oxford Language Dictionary defines stress as a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. Another site also went on to state that stress is a natural human response to a challenging or threatening situations characterized by feelings of worry or mental tension. It prompts us to address challenges and threats in our life. While everyone experiences stress to some degree, the way we respond to it significantly impacts our overall being. Now, let's get into the question. Tashken, what are some of the most common sources of stress within marriage today?
Well, thank you very much, Sabrina. Now, the topic of stress is a really interesting one, and it is such a wide one within our homes today. Okay. But I'm going to look specifically today, I'm going to focus on maybe one or two or three that I think are the most important ones, or the most ones causing the most stress within our home. Let me start with finances. I think that one is a problem. Within our home, there may be situations where one parent is working. There may be situations where both parents are working and having so many bills. And for example, one of the parents were to lose the job.
Yes.
Now that puts a strain
on the family. Yes.
And what that does, it causes so much stress within the home.
That's true.
So, I mean, if it, from a financial standpoint, if it is not something where the entire family can, if we don't plan together for in cases like we lose a job,
yes,
for the education of our children, for varying things, it can put a strain on us. We look on things like parenting challenges. Now,
yes,
that again is a significant challenge within a home. I mean, as parents, we have different parenting styles.
Yes.
For example, and that is put to the test in a relationship, because when the wife or the husband has different ways of going about certain things, and one partner or the other doesn't think that is the right way,
yes, then
it causes stress. And for example, sometimes there's a child or children that are challenged in the relationship, also in the home. Now, when you have a challenged child, oh my God, it puts a strain on how you parent, and it puts a strain on what is the right way. And there's always sometimes an issue can occur with which parenting style is the right way within the home.
So right? That causes stress.
That causes stress. And last, I want to touch on, which is last but not least, in the bedroom. Lack of intimacy in the bedroom.
Yeah.
No, that is a significant one also. Because if either partner is not happy of what is happening in the bedroom, I think that will lead to a lot of stress,
enormous stress
in our relationship. So these are just three of many
stresses that
exist, right?
Yes, in our marriages.
That can affect the home.
Thank you. And let me go on to Solomon. Tell me, how can couples recognize when stress is negatively affecting their relationship?
That's a good question, because there is a time component. And normally if there is a change in
Yes.
mood or family dynamics, for example, silent treatment may be one of them.
Yes.
As
As Tashken mentioned,
Tashken
yes.
was saying that, you have things suddenly changing in the bedroom. But the trigger point is that
Yes.
it doesn't start there, it starts outside.
Okay.
If your partner doesn't speak to you that much anymore, that's withdrawal syndrome. If they're irritable, the tone of the voice begins to change. There is a probability that they're probably stressed.
Yeah.
It could be that you have not yet been victimized by that stress, but they're already experiencing stressful situation.
And it's projected on you.
It's projected. This could be coming in from the family or outside the family, and maybe they are unable to bring it out, to express themselves.
Yes.
For fear of their own confidence or other secondary issues that
Yes, and probably would make the situation even worse depending on what it is.
Financial is one of them. If
Yes.
the provider of the family and I'm out of work for an extended period of time, and there is a message coming in that bills need to be paid, and you, my wife, you bring that bill, say, hey, we need to pay the bills, automatically the stress level is going to be high.
Yes.
Communication is
It's key in this part, yes.
But when it comes to the telltale signs, I think silent treatment and silence and tone of voice might,
You want to say something? I see that, Shirenje. Go right ahead.
Something is burning here.
All right. Do not let it burn
we
you
have
up.
mentioned things that really have to do with the behavioral aspects.
Yes.
But what about health? When someone gets sick,
And that's exactly where I was going. So answer the question.
doesn't that cause stress?
It does.
When we have a bereavement in the family, that can cause stress. Or an accident, a child has just fallen in their cut or something, that can
Yes.
cause stress. Or a child, we gave birth to a child who has got health
Some
defects.
challenges. Yes.
That can cause stress
Yes.
in a family. Not really because somebody has done anything or
No.
there's financial,
Situation.
or we have been through an earthquake and we have lost everything, or a fire and we have lost everything. That is going to cause stress.
Every
I just
aspect
wanted
of
to
our
add to
every
that.
aspect of our life can cause stress. That was going to be my next question about how does individual stress from work or health or even school spill over into the family and cause stress that affects the relationship.
So many times it does.
Yeah.
I know it's burning.
Yeah.
Very quickly, I just wanted to, before we go, stress is not always, in the definition, we talked about the negatives. It's not always a bad thing.
No, we're going to the positive part of stress.
Because they say what doesn't kill you sometimes
Make you stronger.
It's
Yes.
a blanket statement, but it's not always a bad thing.
It's
Good to
Yes,
have
sir.
some level of stress.
Something to
But
push
your
you
boss at
forward.
work is pushing so hard for results, sending
Yes.
you messages on the weekend, and that's the only lifeline for your family. It can be very stressful. But who is really the victim? You lash it out
On
When
your
kids-
family.
when your kids come and they start asking, annoying questions, they want to go out. They remind you of your own commitments that you're not fulfilling.
Yes.
Boom. You have
You lash out on the family
Yeah.
and on on the
It's coming
children.
from outside. It's not originating from within, but from without.
Yes, so these are some things. Yes, no, you were answering before he interjected.
So he has given a perfect answer to your question.
yeah.
When you are stressed outside, I call that
External.
stress.
Yes.
At work, in your social life, something has stressed you. You come home, you want to relax, you just want to do the work, then your child wants to play with you. And like, hey, leave me alone. That's stress. It does happen. Or I'm not really feeling well, and when you're not feeling well physically, it might actually cause depression, and it's again a form of stress. You're trying to recover, but you don't have the space. You still need to work. You still need to make sure that you provide for the family. So the external components can really affect the relationships at home.
Yes. That brings me to the next question. Solomon, how important is communication in managing marital stress? And what does healthy communication in a marriage look like?
Well, communication is how we exchange ideas. You know, we're closed human beings. The only source of information going out is the brain, of course, but our mouth. It's the
Or
only
actions, you know, we
actions,
communicate
yes.
different
So
ways,
how we
verbal and
articulate our challenges
Yes.
to the other party is
Yeah.
very, very important. So it's always important to understand the art of communication in the family. You're not always going to be perfect. As my brother said here, we come from different backgrounds. Some people are fast speakers. Some people they only speak on spontaneity and so on and so forth. It's always good to think before you speak. It's easier to speak in a cordial, camaraderie
Manner.
situation
Yes.
when everybody's happy.
Yeah, but
When
in a
there is
high stress,
tension,
yes.
you have to then put on the thinking gear before you speak. Even if you're under stress, but how you respond to the other party can inevitably worsen the situation.
And that's why I said, what does a
Think of
healthy
the
communication
pronoun
look like?
itself.
Yes.
I versus you, you know. I versus you. You take away the blame from the other person and you try to involve yourself in the situation.
Okay.
You never come on time. You never help me with the chores. You never do it. Yes, you're stressed. But this communication is not helping in any way.
It's causing more stress.
Yeah, I'll find a way of being defensive rather than being, accommodating the whole thing. So that's one example.
So that's why I ask you healthy communication. I want you to tell me how you think we can have healthy communication during high stress period in our marriages. So we are highly stressed, but we want to have healthy communication so that the stress doesn't deviate or the stress doesn't get worse.
Maybe before my colleagues come in, I'll just bring in the idea, the aspect you mentioned, the
Yes.
silent, the communication without words. This, being around someone who is stressed is very, very important.
Okay.
So let's go and cook the meal together. Let's go to the kitchen. While you're doing this, I'll do that. Then there is feedback going. You don't have to say much, but guess what?
The stress
It's creating
level
an
is going
environment
down.
where you can really then later talk about things. If there is a bedroom issue coming, you don't have to solve it there. You can solve it on a walk, on the treadmill. You go for exercise together without saying much. You don't have to say much sometimes.
Yes.
Okay.
And Sabrina, that's where I think understanding your partner comes
Is
in.
important.
Is very, very important. We tend to make lots of assumptions sometimes. We try to think for our partners or assume what they're going to say, right? Without understanding them. And so I think as individuals, as husbands and as wives in relationship, we need to know our partners and we need to listen. Listening is very important. Sometimes we don't take the time to listen to each other. So when there is clear communication, when we listen, when we don't assume, when we don't tell ourselves that we know the solution to the problem, we just listen openly, then I think we will go a far way in helping ourselves to relieve some of these stress, to know how to understand and advise and help. And as Solomon says, some of these things of going out together with your partner, exercising on the treadmill, waking up in the morning and going for a run, doing the exercise in front of the TV, worshiping maybe together, having devotions in the morning.
Yes.
These are the times when we communicate. And when you have external stress, as we're talking about, these times spent together are very important.
All right. Go ahead, Chirinje.
Just one last thing. Sometimes you have to move away from your place where you are so used to. Just move away from
You
it.
said go to a hotel.
Oh, if you can. Or
Okay.
if we cannot afford, we can visit Sister Sabrina.
Yes, it's
We
true.
can visit Solomon.
Yes, it's true.
We can just even take that walk. Just move away from your common area.
Yeah.
Especially, we do recognize the highest levels of stress were experienced during COVID. Why? People were confined to the same place every time,
day.
doing the same routine. And so sometimes it is because you are there all the time. Move away. Go elsewhere. Enjoy life. We don't have a rehearsal for life, by the way. We live one life. So let's enjoy it. That's what I think I can add to that.
Okay. And I'll come to you, Chirinje. What are some ways that couples can avoid blame and resentment when they feel overwhelmed and unsupported within the marriage?
The first way is to look at the situation using the I concept that we had.
Okay.
I feel that when you do not brush your teeth, when we are getting intimate, it affects me. I feel that when you leave your shoes on the floor and you don't put them on the shoe rack, it kills the mood for all of us. I feel that you can assist with washing the plates. You can also support me when I'm having challenges. That's the first step. Always use the I rather than the you. Then another way that couples can avoid a lot of conflict or a lot of stress to their partners is trying to recognize the behavior of my partner. That this is not the normal way.
Yes,
my
when
wife
you know the
acts.
person,
This
yes.
is not the normal way they always answer. Then you ask a simple question, are you okay? Then they will tell you.
Or you listen to.
Then you have to listen.
Yes.
Which can be stressful at times. But that is positive stress. Stress is not always negative.
And we're coming to that, yes.
So whenever we are looking at the stressors, then if we identify sometimes the triggers of those
The
things, then we
stressors,
use
yes.
the I formula in communication. Most of the things that are causing stresses, we can actually remedy.
And also, I think you could ask questions. Like you could ask your partner, okay, what can I do to help? What can I do to make things better? What can I do? Yes, go ahead, Solomon.
Yeah. What can I do to make things better? I don't
Yes.
know if everybody will actually say, can't you see? You asking, can't you see that I'm suffering with this? Sometimes, especially
I know.
the feminine side, they want you. It's called mind reading.
Yes, we have dealt with that
Read it,
yes.
read it. Don't start asking me. You see, I'm stressed with the baby. You see, I'm stressed with the child. Just do it. Maybe this can even cause more stress when you ask a question like this.
Sometimes it can, sometimes it doesn't, because if you say to her, what can I do, when you say it in a loving way, then she can probably recognize that you really care and you're really interested and you really want to do it. So sometimes it can lessen the stress.
Yeah. So another thing is that to share. So I will just, sorry to cut in here, but sharing life out of home. So talking about your work life with your partner when things are going good is a good thing. So that when things are going bad, they will still understand, the dynamics. If you never say anything, outside your working lifestyle to your family, it's difficult for them to understand the stresses you're going through, and therefore to accommodate.
Communication is
understand
important.
the situation at work. There is a lot of tension.
Yes.
And trying to work through it. Then they will understand. Maybe that's why you're working, longer hours and so on.
That's right. Communication is very
Communication,
important.
And that is why I say, Serena, that understanding them is very important.
Yeah.
Each other is very important. And it is important that we practice gratitude.
Yes.
In our marriage. We need to, when I'm at work, I need to send a message to my wife and say, baby, you look so beautiful this morning. I can't wait to come home to you. These things, when you're having a bad day, when she sends me a message and say, honey, last night was amazing. When the stress at work hits you and you see this text message,
Yes.
it lifts your day. It reduces the stress. So when you understand each other and you
Yes.
send these gratitude messages to and from on a daily basis, it's a
Yes.
very good way of alleviating the stress.
Yes.
And just simply smiling.
Yes.
Being positive when things are bad. Being there always to say positive things. Oh, we missed our flight. Oh, we can just book another one. We did this. Well, yeah, but the positive, maybe the plane is going to fall. I don't know. Anything that is positive. A positive mind is a blessing to any family. A negative mind will increase the
Stress, yes. And that's the thing. Can conflict ever be productive in a marriage? That's the question we're going to leave off with. Can conflict ever be productive in a marriage? We will now go for a break. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you on the other side of the break. Thank you.
Kindness is a superpower. Use it to uplift, inspire, and make a difference in the lives of those around you. Yes, you got this.
Thank you for staying with us. and we are really happy that you're here. Now, back to the question I had asked before we went to the break. Chirenje, can conflict ever be productive in a marriage? If so, how?
Actually, conflict is not a problem. Having conflict means you can actually address some hidden things, get to understand each other better, and if it is communicated well between partners, conflict can be very productive.
All right, so the stress in the marriage can be productive. So you're saying indirectly
There is
that's right.
positive stress.
All right, so we're going to be discussing the positive stress. Now, Solomon, tell me about positive stress. You wanted to say that quite a long time from we began this production.
I think positive stress is a necessity for survival.
Okay.
It's a survival skill. We need to be tested. You know, it's like when you have this iron bar, you'll never know how good. Imagine that you go to buy a car and it has never been tested. So you ask them, you know, how fast can this car run? And then it has to be tested. If we go through situations together, it doesn't mean that we don't love each other.
Right.
But it's a way of us understanding our differences, how different we are than we are similar, or vice versa, and then work more on the things that interest us both, rather than everybody going in the other, direction. So this, you will never know. Like when you start dating, especially, you really don't know much about the other person.
Yes.
Except that you maybe, you like how they talk well and things like that. But there are things they don't like. Maybe they don't like you, putting off your socks in a certain
Yes, the way you leave the toilet seat. Yes.
How you flash. There is a movie I watched and the guy was saying, I know you don't know how to flash. You never do it well. And then she said, I've been flushing toilets all my life. I know how to flush a toilet. And he responded saying, but not well. So basically, it's happy moments through stressful situation that can create stronger bonds.
Okay.
Going through, financial situations together, they know the people who divorce when they don't like stress. Like, no, I married a man who is supposed to take care of his family. Now that you don't have a job, bye-bye. I have to walk out. No, it's not good. You have to really go through situations together and then come out stronger in terms of...
All right, so you said stress can make you stronger in the
It
relationship.
can make you stronger because
Yes.
it creates memories,
Uh-huh.
happy moments, and every time you reflect on these happy moments, you look forward to a hopeful, situation.
Okay, and then it builds tenacity. Tashken, can you have positive out of stressful situation? If so, how?
I definitely think so, Sabrina. You see, what I think about what Solomon was saying is that it presents an opportunity. Sometimes we get carried away in relationships and we don't talk to each other as much until maybe stressful situations arise. So what that does, as far as I'm concerned, it presents an opportunity for you even to know more about each other, especially in stressful situations.
Okay.
Because you never talk about some of these things until the stress is there. So
Yes.
you work through it together and you maybe get help for yourself together. You may need therapy, you may need counseling, but you don't unilaterally do it. You do it together by talking over the issues, and then you decide what is best for us as a family.
Yes.
Okay.
So things like that is positives out of a stressful situation.
So we have positive stresses. All right. Next, either Chirenje or Tashken can answer this one. How can spouses support each other when one partner is affected by stress more than the other? So you may have stress at work and your wife doesn't. How can you help each other through stressful situations?
You look like the expert.
Well, you see, it is very normal for that to happen, because I don't think there's going to be a time when the stress level at work for both partners are the same. And so the support for each other, and just a while ago I mentioned the messages. When one is having such a bad day, my wife, when she goes through these observations and stuff at school,
Yes.
her stress level is way up there, right? And how do I help? Is by sending her these messages in the morning.
Yes.
Is by doing stuff that when she comes home, she sees. I cook, for example.
Yes.
I prepare nice meals and presents it to her when she gets home. Things like these are, you know the situation. You know what she's going through. You don't want her. It's just the nice messages that you send, the nice things that you say, the
Yes.
nice things that you do at home, and you also get the children on board as well, because they need to understand that mommy is having a stressful time, and they too do the same. They will send mommy a message also.
Yeah.
They will say, "Mommy, you're the best. Mom, you are amazing."
So you boost her
these
confidence. Yes.
Yes. So these things are what should boost the other party, and it happens when I'm having stress also at my work. My wife will tell me the kids will tell me, everybody will tell me, when I come home to my favorite meal.
Yes.
Because you understand what is happening to your other partner,
Yeah.
and you
Okay.
prepare yourself so that you can be the best help.
Okay, good. Okay, Shirenge, talk to us.
What I got from Tashkent
Yes.
is that we have to make our homes the place to be.
Yes.
When I get stressed at work, I am happy to come home. When someone does something to me, like when Manchester gets to be number 16 on the league, my wife, my kids are the place where I run to. I think, on the other hand, it is the onus of the individual to make sure that I create that environment at home. While I want the others to be supportive of me, I should be someone who can be supported. Do you know there are people who, when they are stressed, it's better to keep away from
To
them.
leave them alone,
And
yes.
when they finally get through it, they'll tell you didn't do anything to help me. So also you should create a situation whereby people are able to say, is everything okay today?
Right, the communication and how you know the
we
person.
what can we do to help you out? Okay, let's go get you a nice green tea. Let's go for a walk. You cannot say that to a person who refuses everything. Like, leave me alone. I just need my time out and all of that. So you can be someone who's stressed, then you give the people who want to support you the silent treatment. So you first have to open up and to admit that this situation should never come into the home.
All right, so and I like the way Tashkent said about the support, and that's what we want, to support each other. And when the
Yes.
support is given, when it happens to the other party, then you know that the other party will also support. Yes, go
I
ahead,
just want
Solomon.
to chime in and say planning is also very important. You know, dynamics of life change. You know, once you're dating, you get married, you don't have children, then there's a child. You need to talk over the expectations of the stress that it actually puts on the one gonna bear the child for 9 months and therefore also do the thereafters. You should be able to understand your role now as a man going into this situation. Should be able to do more. Maybe if she was doing most of the chores, you have to come in. You know, there is a saying in English which says, "Do not hit a man
When he's down. Yes.
This is the most, you know, the stress is not the problem, but amplifying the stress in a stressful situation, you deserve it. You did not
So the
spend
way
your
we
money
speak,
well.
yes.
You did not.
You supported Manchester United.
So deal with it. No.
No, yes.
Be part of the problem.
The solution.
Yes, the solution. I mean, it's okay. You know, I err, but how you communicate to me. Maybe if I had been more vigilant on the finances as well, maybe this situation would not have arisen. Not necessarily to say, yes, we are suffering because of you. This can cause more stress. It's not helping. And as he said, eventually when he's able to overcome the situation, he'll think probably you don't love him that much. Because when he was down, or when she was down,
you did nothing
not
to
come
help
through.
him.
Likewise, you only loved your wife when she was not carrying any child, and now that she's in this situation, having all these mood swings, you don't seem to understand. Once she's out of this, she will not feel loved anymore. So this is the
way to, so we're talking about how to support. And I
yeah.
go ahead. So Shirenge, what are ways to prevent burnout when both partners are stressed, whether from work, from the children, from finances? How can you prevent burnout from stress?
The first thing that you must do to avoid burnout is to know your limits.
Yeah.
First and foremost, we were created in a way that it's a cycle. After 6 days, you must take a leave. However, if you are not careful, in the current state of affairs in the world right now, you can work 7 days, 24 hours. Let go of the work. Give yourself time at home. Create moments.
Yes.
When you are having stress, you must have something to remember. Oh, do you remember
Take a break.
when we went to Jamaica, to Kingston, and we enjoyed ourselves? Or when we went to Zimbabwe, Victoria Falls, to South
Yes.
Africa, Cape Town. Create those moments. It doesn't necessarily have to be a trip. It might be at home.
Memory.
Have a photo album whereby you go and to look at your wedding day, the day when the baby was born. Create those moments. They will be
love that.
helpful at some time when you're just stressed. Both of you are at work. Things are not well. The visa issues are causing you problems or whatever. Then you start looking at, and we overcame on this day. We overcame on this. If you have those memories,
Yes.
the brain is more likely to heal and get rid of stress faster. And enjoy the food, by the way.
Yes.
Enjoy the food.
So another question, you want to say something,
No, I
Taskin?
agree. I agree with Chirenge that things like these, you need to try new things. For example, try new things at home. Have date nights. These things, when both of you are stressed, you have to
Take a break.
Take a break.
Yes, step back and
step
then
back,
create your moments.
Create your moments.
Oh,
have your
okay.
date nights, have your movie nights, have your restaurant nights. I mean, if you can take a weekend together at a hotel, all inclusive, it would be good. But some of us, we can't afford it. But things, away time, alone time sometimes, even
Yes.
away from the children,
Yes.
you and your wife. And if it's causing stress in the entire home, you and your entire family, take some time outside of the home to go and enjoy the scenery, something like that.
Yeah,
Thank
under the
you.
umbrella of, I think they call it work-life balance, right?
Yes.
Where it's good to progress in life, but sometimes at the expense of our families, we put our priorities first, and that then puts a lot of stress on the other side. So the burnout could actually be you burning yourself out because you want to achieve some status.
Yes, true.
But then it burns out your family because you're absent. I mean, you're really at
Yes, your wife has to be doing everything because you're
So
absent. Yes.
Vacation is I think is very, very important. I know
Yes.
some people who are proud. I didn't take vacation because they're helping the company. But then we know very well that
True.
we are all replaceable.
We
The
are.
moment you're gone, the following day an advert is, the company will
Yes.
not collapse because otherwise people will not be retiring.
That's true.
So enjoy your life, take vacation. Like he was saying, let's go to Zimbabwe. Let's even plan to save for this. It motivates someone to be like, let's look forward to this thing. It's
Yeah.
a time off where we all go and forget about this. Vacation.
And maybe it's not even vacation. Maybe it's building a house together. That brings in positive stress.
Yes.
We need to budget. We need to get rid of this and this and this. We've managed to achieve this. We've bought our house. What's next? Let's buy a car. What's next? The kids need to go to university. Can you see? These are negative stressors you are turning to
Into
positive
positive
stressors.
stress, yes.
And you create memories out of it. Or when you turn 60, 70, you are looking at the house and you say, how did we manage to do this?
Then
And
you
laugh.
remember. Yes. Okay. Next, Solomon, what are some red flags that a couple who are going through stress would need professional counseling?
You mean tell like
Some signs, some red flags, some signs that said
so
yes.
these red flags that someone else outside the family is looking in, looking in,
No,
or them
there's-
looking into each other.
No, how you know? So the couples that are having problem, they are all stressed, and you recognize that they cannot solve the problems by themselves. They need external help. They need counseling. How would you know? What are some red flags? What are some indicators?
One red flag. There's something we cannot hide. The countenance, the facial expression of a human being. It is so plain that you can tell when something is not right. When my brother here is smiling, it's easy to tell that things are good. But when there is something burning from inside, I can tell. There's something to do with the rigidity of the
face.
muscles.
Okay.
Sometimes the ladies camouflage that with a lot of extra layers, foundations and things, but it can still come out. That's one thing. And also the speech. Sometimes we're very incoherent in our conversations, absent-minded. I'm talking to you and you don't seem to pay attention. You lose motivation. You're not really focused. This is a sign that we can go out. I don't know what's happening in your family, but if I go out and talk to you in private, I can sense that maybe there is something not right in your family.
Okay, but the thing is, I'm asking, let me go with Chirenje. So a couple recognizes that they have stress, lots of stress, and they cannot solve it. So I said, what are some signs that would suggest that both of them, because someone here may be listening and would be saying, we're okay, but we can say, you can look at some signs or symptoms that would suggest that you cannot solve it by yourself. You need professional help to assist you in solving this problem.
For a couple, first
Yes.
there's decline in intimacy. Not just the bedroom, like the normal I love yous, they just start
Okay.
dying. The cold shoulders,
The
start
disconnect
increasing,
emotionally.
disconnect.
Okay.
Then that normally is also reflected in the angry words that are exchanged at most now. The increase in the words that are exchanged, which are not positive. Then you see that if you find yourself not happy spending quality time with your
Yes.
family, that's a telltale sign. That's
Okay.
something, right? You now need to bring in assistance. First of all, I would suggest solve the problem if possible.
So
But
I'm saying
if
they
it's
can't
not-
solve it.
Yeah,
and
if they can't,
yes,
you reach out
yes.
and find somebody else who can come in. It could be from your religion, with whichever religion. They
Yes.
can come in and try and counsel you and help you out, or even friends. Let's bring them in. Relatives, not all of them. There are some who are good at it. You know them. Talk to them. They will help you out.
Yes, and there's also silence, silence.
There's no
Deafening
communication.
silence. Yes,
Yeah.
or withdrawal. Withdrawal. You withdraw yourself. You don't want to talk to anybody. That kind of thing is a sign that there is stress. For me, if and I'm going back in intimacy, because if my wife comes into bed and she touches me a certain way and she see I'm not reacting, or vice versa, no, there is a problem. Now, some of us love certain things every day, every night. And if your partner is coming and she's finding out that you're just not interested, she touches you where you like to be touched, you do the same. And
The
there's no
disconnect.
response, there's a disconnect,
There is
right?
a disconnect, yes.
Then you know that stress is at its peak,
Yes.
or for
and
me,
you may need outside help.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Just understanding, I think I understand what you need. Like, we're not, even in a family situation, you cannot be an expert at everything.
Yes.
Like really, we need help. Sometimes you have a child coming into this family that is of a special type. You are not an expert on this. People have written books on this. People have raised children on this. You're better off just seeking help on specific things.
Yes.
Even in situations where, as you said, bedroom matters are not really going according. Maybe it's a medical condition that has come in, but you're living in denial. You're living in denial. It's okay to go and seek medical advice.
Yeah.
And probably, to take away the stress. The earlier, the better.
Even bereavement. There are
Yes.
some partners who cannot deal with bereavement. They have lost parents and so forth, then they start withdrawing. It is not because there's any conflict between the partners, but your partner is not taking the situation well. In
Yes.
that case, you can do so
Or much and no more. Somebody else may need to step in.
else can step in and
Yes.
assist. It could be your partner is having stress and now they are resorting to anti-stress drugs,
Yeah,
alcohol,
antidepressant, yes.
and they are trying to cope. Again, you cannot do much to assist that. You need help. You can talk to them and tell them how it is affecting you. You are not judging them. You suggest, do you think it would be good if we go
Yes.
and consult for
Okay.
assistance?
We're gonna, yes, go ahead, Solomon.
I've observed
30
something.
seconds for that.
Sorry.
Yes.
Just very quickly, that we tend to sometimes distance ourselves to say you are the one who is stressed, so you need therapy. I'll pay for the therapy. Go for sessions.
Yes.
You're never, but you need to be part of the problem. Really, if you're all the time saying you're the one who you're the one who doesn't talk well, we need. As I like what you said, you need to be
Yes.
supporting. Sometimes even going to a therapist may not work. You know why? Because the partner is not there, and some therapists actually demand that before they do anything, both parties
Need
have
to be
present.
yes,
It's
definitely.
not one man's responsibility to raise children, to do all these things. Even if I'm the one being impacted, but it's
Both.
a group. Yeah.
Yes. So this question is very, very important. For couples with a shared faith, how can spirituality or prayer help navigate stress? Shirenje?
I am quite spiritual myself.
Yes.
And I believe the best solution to any stress
Yes.
is when a couple is connected to the Supreme Creator.
Okay.
Whichever religion you belong to, whichever denomination you relate to,
Yes.
whichever culture you come from, the Supreme Being is the one who designed us. He understands emotions better than anyone else.
Yes.
And if a couple is spiritual, they can handle any stress because the Supreme One would be part of it. Because I look to God, I look to Allah, I look to Jehovah
Yes.
to help me understand my partner. And if they are doing the same, we will converge on the stressor and be able to deal with it.
Yes, you'll be able to
And
navigate it.
I always say this to my wife: if there's a problem, we find a solution. If there's no solution, that is the solution. There's no solution. So we shouldn't stress over it. We bring it to God, we give it there. It's that. So spirituality, I believe, is the ultimate solution.
Okay.
I'm not counseling. I'm not canceling counseling.
Yes.
It's still needed.
Yes.
However, spirituality
See.
has an important role.
That is it. And okay, go quickly, and then we have to be
Also, because
closing.
Normally in spirituality or religious, there is a foundation of information and let me say scripts where we can draw up, quotations, for example, little extractions that when you read them, like if you're, as I said, small messages from this world of spiritualism, you read it and you're like, wow, this is really speaking to me.
Oh yes, yes.
And now that
It speaks to your situation.
Yeah, exactly. Not necessarily maybe in prayer or whatever, but the general exchange of ideas around the world of things you believe in.
Yes.
Endorse or remind you of the good things that I mean, it's a healing journey that your partner can get you started on just by sending you these little messages.
Final question for us to wrap up. 30 seconds each. What is one piece of advice that you would give to couples who are experiencing stress in their marriage? I'll begin with you, Solomon, and then I will continue over to my...
I think
left.
I'll go to the end at the beginning, which
Yes.
is to say that you can spin some of the negative stresses to positives and say what cannot kill us will make us
stronger.
stronger. If we can handle it together, we will love, with the bond will only be stronger. That is my message.
Thank you, Shirenje.
Create moments
Yes.
from the negatives. Build a positive solution out of it. Be spiritual. I'm not ashamed to say that. Always seek counseling when you know you can no longer handle it.
Yes.
And always speak positively to each other, and it should be we, not you. If not you at all, if we does not apply, then it should be I. That's what I
Okay.
have to say.
Thank you.
I agree with my two colleagues here. I think understanding each other in a relationship is critical, in a home is critical.
Yes.
And once you understand each other, be a good listener, be not judgmental, and always be a positive influence in your family. And I think if you do that, you should be very well.
Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining me today. So, effective communication stands at the heart of navigating marital stress. Regular setting aside time to discuss what is causing the stress will help, and you will foster a good relationship with each other. Practice active listening and validating each other's experiences. This can transform challenges into opportunities. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for listening. Have a good afternoon, day, night, wherever you are. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe. That's it for now. Bye.